What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speak. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on email Doka, man, getting fired. Um, in my opinion, I blame this on Kevin Durant. You know, when the Houston Rockets said that they were going to bring in Kevin Durant, I thought that I thought it was a good move. I thought, like Jalen, what was the guy named? Jalen Green last year in the playoffs for the Houston Rockets kind of faded out and didn't really perform like I thought that he would. Now, once last year when Jalen Green didn't perform in the playoffs, I thought, I just chalked it up with okay, this is a young guy. He's going to he's going to get better. That was his first time playing under that kind of pressure. You see that sometimes. Even what's the guy name for the Celtics? Jason Tatum. Like Jason Tatum took a while, for him to play to his level in those big playoff games. Sometimes it happened. Even Steph Curry, you know, in playoff games, it took him a while to adjust to that type of intensity, right? And I thought it was going to be the same way with Jalen Green, but they decided to move on from him and they brought Kevin Durant in. So, okay, you bringing in Kevin Durant. I'm like, Kevin Durant, with this nucleus, you got Shangoon, you got Amin Thomas, you got those guys, from last year. I was like, yeah, this is they're going to be able to make some noise, because Kevin Durant is not the kind of player that's really going to upset the apple cart. You know what you're getting when you bring in Kevin Durant. You know you're going to get a certain amount of points, right? But I just didn't take into account, man, that Kevin Durant is kind of like almost like a wet blanket. He like a mood killer, right? He don't really, he kind of like pouts and almost like passive aggressive when things don't go his way. And I just blame this firing of Email Doka, really, in my opinion, on Kevin Durant. And because if you want him to add to your culture, and I had this discussion with some guys on my Sunday show, right? If you want Kevin Durant to boost your culture, he's not going to do that. Kevin Durant is just going to bring what he brings to the table. He's not the kind of player, even as great as as great as Kevin Durant is, he's not the kind of player who's going to come in and be able to, take your team to the next level. And so people say, well, what about when he was at Golden State? Didn't he take them to the next level? Golden State was already a championship team before Kevin Durant got there, right? And that's not to say that he didn't contribute to Golden State, but they had won a championship before he got there. They won two with him, but then when he left, they won another one, right? So they already had that championship pedigree before he got there. He participated and he helped them out. Now, if Golden State had not won a championship before he got there, would he have been the piece to take him over the top? I don't know. I don't know, but it don't look that way because when you look at all the other teams that Kevin Durant played for, he was not the one. He was not able to take them over the top. He couldn't do it at OKC. He couldn't do it when he was with Brooklyn. He couldn't do it when he was with Phoenix. And so he's just not that kind of player. He's not that kind of player. There's some skills and a certain amount of toughness and determination and maturity that Kevin Durant lacked when it comes to elevating younger players. And it really, to me, I think it just kind of like not purposely, but it kind of sabotaged what Email Doka was doing, with this young group. Like I said, I was really big on them, even if they had not have gotten put Kevin Durant in there. I was big on this Houston Rockets team because I liked the way they played last year in the playoffs. So now Email Doka is out, which I don't really agree with. I think they bringing in the guy Mike Budenhauser, right? And I like Mike Budenholzer too as a coach because he won the championship with Milwaukee, and then after that championship year, Milwaukee moved on from him, which I thought was a bad decision, and turned out to be a bad decision because Milwaukee, in my opinion, has been all downhill ever since. And I think it's going to be the same way for the Houston Rockets, right? This is Ime Udoka's team. They are establishing, he was establishing a culture there. He was getting these guys to play basketball a certain way, right? Kevin Durant, in my opinion, kind of disrupted that. If I'm the general manager or if I was the owner, I would have I would let Kevin Durant go before I let Ime Udoka go because we saw what he did last year with that young group and how he was, how he was getting them to play. And to me, it's just Kevin Durant, man. You know, he's not living up to the billing, and it's just showing that he can't take a team over the top. We seen what Ime Udoka can do. We watched him in Boston, how he got his team the Celtics to play before he got fired from there. Then he comes to the Rockets and he get these guys to play the same way, that toughness and that defense. But then he bring in, to me, I just think that Kevin Durant, he kills that chemistry. He kills that chemistry. He don't have um, that toughness that it take to get his team to the next level. He just don't. And like I said, man, I would have gotten rid of Kevin Durant before I got rid of Ime Udoka. Now, Mike Budenholzer, I don't know if I think he's a good coach, but I don't know if he fits the chemistry of this team. I don't know if he's going to be able to get these guys to come back to playing tough. And then on top of that, what's going to happen with Kevin Durant? Like, will they keep Kevin Durant? Because I think if they keep Kevin Durant, that's another issue. It's an issue. So they're trying to make it seem like maybe Mike Budenholzer can figure out how he can mesh Kevin Durant in with these young guys. But Kevin Durant, to me, is just a mood killer. And so it's going to be hard for Mike Budenholzer, which I said is a really good coach. But yeah, with this, he's just kind of, in my opinion, Kevin Durant, he's the kind of guy who's passive aggressive. If things don't go his way, you know, he's gonna whine and pout and stuff about it. Yeah, I definitely would have I would have let Kevin Durant go, found a way to get Kevin Durant out of there, man, because it's just too much. Like it when he couldn't win with Bradley Beal and what was the other guy? Booker, Devin Booker. Even though they didn't have a point guard, but they couldn't win with all that talent. Then you on a team with Kyrie Irving and James Harden, and you can't win there. Now that people gave him a pass for that team because injuries. Then the other guy, what was his name? James Harden wanted out. Kyrie didn't. But still, man, like where, like what team can Kevin Durant get over the hump? That a team that is like just his own, where he built that, he the leader. At time point in time in the game, I'm gonna strap y'all to my back, and I'm gonna do not just scoring. He putting up all the stats as far as scoring, but there are other things that Kevin Durant don't, like other champions bring to the table that Kevin Durant don't do. He don't bring those those tangibles to the table like other champions do. That's why he hasn't had the career. And I think when people look back at his whole career, everywhere he's been, all of his accomplishments, like I said, he can score, but there's some things he don't bring to the table that championship basketball players need when it comes to getting their team over the hump, man. And I just think he's a coach killer in my opinion. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I'm gonna check y'all out in my next video.